After a month full of horror-themed reviews and top lists on the internet, I'd like to give a late shot and look at the horror game genre. More specifically, a look at one of my favorite horror games, Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and think about why it was so scary in the first place. Now, for this video, let's not look at the sequel A Machine for Pigs, but focus on the first game. So here are my top 5 reasons why Amnesia: The Dark Descent is scary.
Help her! Find a way!
Number 5. The narrative. It's really hard to make an original and interesting setting for a horror game. You can quickly fall into cliches, resolving to rather poor storylines that feel like excuses to put you in a scary situation. Amnesia manages to create an interesting and thrilling storyline, putting the main character all alone in a castle with no memories about himself or his past. By visions and reading notes that are scattered throughout the environment, you can find more about who you are, where you are, and how you got there. Instead of falling into cliches, Amnesia gives a good explanation that doesn't take away the atmosphere. Another thing I like about the game is that it doesn't throw you into a scary situation right away. It takes its time to build up the atmosphere and let you explore the castle. With each door you open, you get more glimpses of unnatural things. By the time I confronted a monster, it scared the hell out of me. Number 4. The reducing sanity.
Although you can use the darkness to your advantage to hide, it can also be your undoing if you remain in it for too long.
In Amnesia, the darkness is your foe. Being in the darkness, witnessing unsettling events, or looking at monsters reduces your sanity, causing visual and auditory hallucinations. Because of this, you try to avoid all these things by staying in the light and making careful use of your items. Darkness is a scary element in most horror games, but when the game gives you a disadvantage for staying in the darkness, it makes it all the scarier.
Sometimes the monsters you experience are merely hallucinations brought about by your lack of sanity and couldn't blow the skin off a cold plate of custard.
Number 3. The water. If you have played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Just what is in that water? In most games, water is not a good sign. It either kills you or you get in touch with an enemy, Amnesia being no exception. The scariest thing about this monster is that you never get to see it. You can only see its movement and hear if it's near or not. Every player has been in a situation where Daniel, the protagonist, just didn't jump on a crate and you just spammed the jump button out of panic. For me, its first encounter was one of the biggest scares of the game. I just didn't know what was happening, and before I could think straight, the monster already killed me. Number 2. The enemies. Sooner or later, Amnesia gives you the idea there's a monster behind every corner, door, or even behind your back, making such a thing as walking down a hallway a nerve-wracking event. You're not able to fight the enemies, so run and hide while trying to avoid looking at them is the key to win. It truly makes you feel like a powerless prey, but what makes it all the more scary is without a doubt the sound. Just hearing a monster can give you a big scare and means that the monster is very close to you. And then there's the nerve-wracking chase music. You only hear it when a monster spotted you, so each time I hear it, I end up blindly running away and not looking back.
The monster will now undoubtedly give chase. Again, it is important to stay calm. The last thing you want to do when being chased by a horribly disfigured creature is to totally forget where you are.
The enemies don't always stay at the same place. When they kill you, they are usually gone once you retry. This doesn't create the frustration of doing the same part over and over again, which would take away the atmosphere. Once you avoided them in an area, they are usually gone when you return to the area, so it's really unpredictable when they will pop up. They know exactly when to come and when to go. Number 1. The atmosphere. Combine all of the aforementioned elements together and it creates a great atmosphere. Amnesia has the perfect balance between story, intense parts, quiet parts, peaceful parts, and puzzles. If a horror game would constantly try to be scary and constantly throw monsters and jump scares at you, it would become boring after a while. Amnesia knows exactly what to give you and when to give it to you. Because of this balance, the game stays scary from start to finish. To a Machine for Pigs credit, yeah, the game didn't have scary monsters, it had an unlimited light source, it didn't have the reducing sanity mechanic, and you didn't feel like a powerless prey, but it still had a great atmosphere. It still had a good balance and a decent build-up, which made it a good game. For both A Machine for Pigs and The Dark Descent, the level design, lighting, music, and sound effects, it all falls perfectly in place. Amnesia is one of my favorite horror games, and I hope to see more horror games of the same level in the future. So that was my top 5 reasons why Amnesia: The Dark Descent is scary. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.